Hi students, welcome to lesson number 4, Organizations and Functions of PR Departments, Role of a Public Relations Officer. Explain the concept of public information, understand the media organizations of Government of India, know about information administration at state level, have knowledge about professional PR associations, understand the PRsetup Organisations, the role and responsibilities of a PRO. In our country, the information services of central and state governments differ basically in one aspect. While in the central government, each medium is looked after by a separate unit, at the state level, all media are taken care of by a single department. In the central setup, the Ministry of Information and Broadcasting is responsible to keep the people all over the country informed of the government's policies and programs. Different media units function under the ministry which coordinates and controls their work. The external publicity of the country is handled by one external publicity division of the External Affairs Ministry. Similarly, at state level, Department of Information and Public Relations will handle public information. There are professional PR organizations like PRSI, PRCI, PRCAI, ABCI, GFPR, etc. A professional organization, sometimes referred to as a professional association or professional body, exists to advance a particular profession, support the interests of people working in that profession and serve the public good. It facilitates innovation, communication and connection. Public Relations Department or wing or division of an organization disseminates information, supervises and assesses public attitudes, maintains mutual relations and understandings between the organization and the concerned public. The PR manager or the corporate communications manager has a greater role to play in managing the public information. A popular government without popular information or the means of acquiring it is but a prologue to a farce or a tragedy, or perhaps both. Knowledge will forever govern ignorance, and a people who mean to be their own governors must arm themselves with the power which knowledge gives, said James Madison in 1822. He is the 4th President of the United States. Popular government is the government elected by the people, and popular information is nothing but public information that belongs to the population. In other words, information of public interest is known as public information. Here, public interest represents the citizenry whose informed opinion is of vital importance to a democratic country. Such information normally emanates from public authorities and the government. Well-informed citizenry is an asset to the nation. Public information in the Indian context is what the central and state governments, public sector undertakings, public authorities and local bodies disseminate, that is advantageous to both government and the public. Various ministries and departments also disseminate information about their respective policies, programs and achievements to inform, educate and motivate people's participation. That is the philosophy of public information. The Ministry of Information and Broadcasting is responsible for regulating 3 important areas, namely number 1, broadcasting service, number 2, films management, and number 3, Public Information Dissemination Service. Prasara Bharati falls under Broadcasting Service. National Film Development Corporation falls under Films Management. Central Bureau of Communication and other divisions do disseminate public information. The following organizations are called Government of India media units. Number 1, All India Radio, Akashvani. Number 2, Doordarshan. Number 3, Films Division, Directorate of Film Festivals. National Film Archive of India and Children Film Society of India were merged into National Film Development Corporation in 2022. Number 4, Central Bureau of Communication that was set up in 2017 by integrating the erstwhile Directorate of Advertising and Visual Publicity DAVP, Directorate of Field Publicity DFP and Song and Drama Division SDD. Number 5 is the Photo Division. Number 6, Publications Division. Number 7, Research, Reference and Training Division. Number 8, Registrar of Newspapers for India. Number 9, Press Council of India. Number 10, Press Information Bureau PIB. And number 11, Indian Institute of Mass Communication IIMC. All India Radio, that is Akashvani. In our country, broadcasting is state-owned. In United Kingdom, it is looked after by British Broadcasting Corporation, an autonomous body. And in USA, public radio broadcasting is primarily run by private foundations, universities and public authorities. All India Radio has both home and external services. It not only informs, educates with news and comments, but also entertains with music, plays, features, etc. It has a commercial broadcasting also. All India Radio, also called as Akashvani, meaning voice from the sky, is a public radio broadcaster established in 1936. It is the sister service of Prasara Bharati's Doordarshan. In terms of the number of languages transmitted, the range of socio-economic variety it serves and the size of its broadcasting organization, Akashvani is the largest radio network in the world. Number 2, Doordarshan, abbreviated as DD, literally a distant vision, that is television. It is a public telecaster founded by the Government of India in 1959. Doordarshan, which also broadcasts on digital terrestrial transmitters, provides television, radio, online and mobile services throughout metropolitan and regional India and overseas. Krishi Darshan, started on Doordarshan in 1967, is Indian television's longest running program. Satellite Instructional Television Experiment SITE, initiated in 1975, extended the scope of television. Television service was separated from radio in 1976. Advent of color television in 1982 revolutionized Doordarshan. Today it has several channels, including satellite channels and studios, and beams programs in almost all the languages of India. Number 3, National Film Development Corporation. Incorporated in the year 1975, the National Film Development Corporation Limited was formed by the Ministry of Information and Broadcasting. Government of India, with the primary objective of promoting the good cinema movement. Consequent to a cabinet decision of 2020, in March 2022, the mandate of production of documentaries and short films, organization of film festivals and preservation of films was transferred to the National Film Development Corporation. The mandate of production of feature films is already being carried out by NFDC. It gave a strong impetus to the production of films of the genres, including feature films, documentaries, children film and animation films, promotion of films through participation in different international festivals and organizing various domestic festivals, preservation of filmic content, digitization and restoration of films, and distribution and outreach activities. The mandate of production of documentaries that was earlier done by Films Division has been completely transferred to the NFDC. Similarly, the organization of films festivals that was the mandate of Directorate of Films Festival has been transferred to NFDC. This has brought the organization of different national and international film festivals under one roof. The preservation related activities that are carried out by National Film Archives of India have also been transferred to NFDC. The National Film Heritage Mission, aiming at digitization and restoration of films and documentaries, will now be implemented by NFDC. Central Bureau of Communication, also CBC. This bureau has the mandate of providing 360 degrees communication solutions to ministries, departments, public sector undertakings, the autonomous bodies. It was set up in 2017 by the integration of the erstwhile Directorate of Advertising and Visual Publicity, Directorate of Field Publicity, and Song and Drama Division. With 23 regional offices and 148 field offices, this bureau is engaged in the process of educating people, both rural and urban, about the government's policies and programs to evoke their participation in developmental activities. This bureau undertakes various campaigns towards this end by using different vehicles of communication, namely print media advertising, audio-visual campaigns through exhibitions, outdoor campaigns, and digital media, etc. While one of the key functions of CBC is to act as an advisory body to the government on media strategy, its chief mandate is to advance the government's image as the prime facilitator of people's empowerment by positioning messages through various media. The policy guidelines at the Bureau have been adopted to keep pace with the emerging media scenario, which helps in maximizing the reach of information dissemination. Advertising and Visual Communication Division, the erstwhile DAVP, is the nodal division of CBC responsible for the dissemination of information about the government's policies and programs through available modes of communication. The Folk Communication Division of the Bureau carries out interpersonal communication through the means of live media. Multiple forms of performing arts such as drama, dance drama, puppetry, ballets, operas, folk and traditional recitals, mythological recitals, and other local folk and traditional forms are deployed to maximize the outreach of information about various policies, programs, and schemes of the government. Field Communication Division undertakes direct and interpersonal communication programs to create awareness among people, particularly in rural and semi-urban areas. Regional officers and field officers accordingly seek to empower people through information to enable them to avail the benefits of government programs and schemes. It organizes ground activation as well as outreach programs, and special outreach programs are organized with the support of various stakeholders, namely the state government and local functionaries, society groups, etc. Since they are in the local languages and often at venues in the vicinity, the impact of these communication programs is far and wide, and it promotes a greater understanding of the government's schemes among the masses. These efforts are complemented by using traditional and folk media and other conventional and non-conventional methods. With the integration of erstwhile DAVP, DFP and Song and Drama Division, programs are increasingly organized in integrated manner with special outreach and folk components. Number 5 is Photo Division. Established in the early 1960s, merging the photo studio of the Publications Division and the photo unit of the PIB, the Photo Division is responsible for visual support for the varied activities of the Government of India. It is the biggest production unit of its kind in the country in the field of photography. The Photo Division organizes the National Photo Contest every year on different themes. Number 6, Publications Division. Established in 1941 as a branch of the Bureau of Public Information, the Publications Division brings out a wide variety of books on subjects ranging from national policies and programs to art, culture, history, flora and fauna, the land and the people, speeches and writings, biographies and children's literature. This division uses the printed word as a medium of publicity. It publishes a weekly employment news in English, one Rozgar Samachar in Hindi and Urdu, giving information on employment opportunities in the government and public sector undertakings. Yojana, a fortnightly devoted to current affairs, planning and development, published in several languages. Kurukshetra, a monthly for rural development in English and Hindi, and also Bal Bharati, a Hindi children's magazine, also brought out. Number 7, Research, Reference and Training Division. It was set up in 1950. The Research, Reference and Training Division is an information serving agency for the Ministry of Information and Broadcasting and its various media units. It serves as an information bank and information feeder service to the media units to help their programming and publicity campaigns. The agency also studies trends in mass communication, media, maintains a reference and documentation service on mass communication. This division provides background references and research material besides bringing out a diary of events every fortnight and 2 annual references works, India, a reference annual and mass media in India. Unit number 8, Registrar of Newspapers for India. The Office of the Registrar of Newspapers for India came into being in 1956 on the recommendation of the First Press Commission in 1954 as the registering authority for newspapers in India. The registrar, commonly known as Press Registrar, submits an annual report to the Government of India on the status of newspapers before the 30th of September every year. This gives details of newspapers registered during the year, total number of newspapers, their circulation, etc. details. Unit number 9, Press Council of India. The Press Council of India is a statutory adjudicating organization formed in 1966 by the Parliament on the recommendations of the First Press Commission. It is the self-regulatory watchdog of the press, for the press and by the press. After emergency, this was re-established in the year 1979 with the twofold objects of preserving the freedom of the press by maintaining and improving the standards of newspapers and the news agencies in India. The objects of the Press Council of India are to preserve the freedom of the press and to maintain and improve the standards of newspapers and news agencies in India. This council advises the government, undertakes studies and express its opinion in regard to any bill, any legislation, law or other matters concerning the press and convey its opinion to the government. Also in the matters of public importance concerning its statutory responsibilities, this council may suo motu take cognizance and constitute a special committee to make an on-the-spot inquiry. The important functions which the Press Council is required to perform or to help newspapers and news agencies to maintain their independence, to build up a code of conduct for newspapers, news agencies and journalists in accordance with high professional standards, to ensure on the part of the newspapers, news agencies and journalists the maintenance of high standards of public taste and foster a due sense of both the rights and responsibilities, to keep under review any development likely to restrict the supply and dissemination of news of public interest and importance, to promote a proper functional relationship among all classes. 10 is Press Information Bureau. The Press Information Bureau was started as the Central Bureau of Information in 1919 and was renamed as Bureau of Public Information in 1936. It is now the nodal agency of the central government to disseminate information to the print and electronic media on government policies, programs, initiatives and achievements. The Bureau has several regional and branch offices and information centers. Public information is disseminated through press releases, press notes, feature articles, backgrounders, press briefings, photographs, press conferences, interviews, databases available on PIB's website, press tours, etc. Unit number 11, Indian Institute of Mass Communication. It was established in the year 1965. It is the institute to organize training courses mainly for Central Information Service officers and undertook research studies on a modest scale. Then in 1969, a major international training program, the postgraduate diploma course in journalism for developing countries for middle level working journalists from Afro-Asian countries was started. A number of specialized short courses of 1 week to 3 months duration were subsequently started by the institute to meet the training needs of communication professionals working in various media and publicity outfits of the central and state governments and public sector organizations. Over the years, IIMC has expanded and now offers regular postgraduate diploma courses. IIMC considers communication as an imperative for development and is committed to serving the society by providing world-class teaching, world-class training and research, thus preparing students to take on the challenges of a highly competitive world. IIMC training programs are tailored to meet the needs of developing countries, and this is what makes IIMC different from other centers of mass communication training in this country and elsewhere. Already discussed organizations extend public information dissemination services. While the above is the setup with central government, the following is the structure of information administration at the state level. State government PR, public relations in state governments is very important. It is important because through public relations activities, people understand how they are being governed. When people appreciate the efforts of the government, it is easy to sustain and secure their support and participation in government schemes and the programs. All the state governments in India have their own PR departments. Though the nomenclature differs slightly, it is Information and Public Relations Department at state level. While different media units handle relations with different media at central level, only one department handles all the media at state level. Centralization, as in the case of state PR departments, results in greater cohesion and reduction in costs. The main objective of the Department of Information and Public Relations is basically twofold. Number one is informing public about the policies and programs of the state government, and number two, keeping the government informed of the people's reactions to the policies and programs of the government. Information and Public Relations Department has different media-wise wings. They are Press Information Service, Photo Services, Research and Reference, Publications, Advertising and Visual Publicity Services, Exhibitions, Song and Drama, Information Centers, Field Publicity, Films, Community Radio and Television, Electronic Media and Public Address System, etc. In Andhra Pradesh, Information and Public Relations Department was established in 1959 following reorganization of states on linguistic basis. In Telangana, the department was created after it was separated from the Andhra Pradesh. At present, the setup in these states is like this. At government level, a minister, below him a secretary to the government in general administration department, below him additional secretary or joint secretary to the government, below him deputy secretary or assistant secretaries. At commissionerate level, a commissioner, a director, additional director, joint directors, deputy directors, assistant directors or public relations officers, and below them assistant public relations officers. At field level, a regional joint director or regional deputy director, district public relations officer, divisional public relations officers for each division, and at local government level there are urban local bodies and rural local bodies. In urban local bodies, that is in major municipal corporations, there will be a PR department headed by chief public relations officers, and for Jilla Parishads, the DPRO, that is district public relations officer, and for Mandal Parishad, divisional public relations officers will take care of information dissemination. In addition, INPR department has a state information center in Delhi, a publicity cell in secretariat, special publicity cells for some districts. Public relations profession saw an evolution towards professionalism when a professional organization called PRSI, that is Public Relations Society of India, was formed in 1958 in Bombay. This is the beginning of professional approach to public relations. PRSI was established to promote the profession and to formulate and interpret to the public the objectives and potentialities of public relations as an integral function of management. Public Relations Circle of Calcutta, that was formed in 1965, was merged with PRSI in 1968 at the first All India Public Relations Conference. This conference also adopted Professional Code of Ethics. PRSI organized 45 All India PR conferences. The headquarters of PRSI is New Delhi. Another organization, Association of Business Communicators of India, ABCI. It is an association of business communication professionals. It was started in 1957 in Bombay. It was originally Indian Association of Industrial Editors. The association was rechristened in 1980 to Association of Business Communicators of India to embrace a wider range of business communicators. Another organization is Public Relations Consultants Association of India, that is PRCAI. It is a trade organization that represents India's public relations consultancy sector. It was formed in 2001 in Gurgaon, Haryana, to grow, represent and support India's public relations consultancy sector in international practices. Another organization is PRCI, that is Public Relations Council of India. It is a breakaway group of PRSI. It was formed in 2004 with similar objectives and network of chapters and membership in the country with its headquarters in Bangalore. PRCI provides industry professionals an opportunity to serve their community by encouraging high ethical standards in their respective areas of work. Global Forum for Public Relations, GFPR, is another organization. It is an international association created in 2006 in Hyderabad for promoting values and ethics in public relations. by the media wing of Brahma Kumari's World Spiritual Organization for promoting value-based public relations through a triangle approach of professionalism, ethics and spirituality. Now, let us look at the PR structure in public sector. The basic objective of public sector is to provide suitable conditions for agricultural, industrial, economic growth and development. In order to realize this objective, public sector organizations have to establish and maintain relations with various segments of targeted publics. Thus, the practice of public relations is an important task in the public sector so as to project its activities both to internal and external publics. The PR structure in a public sector bank, example, State Bank of India would be like corporate office, a CMD, General Manager Public Relations with supporting staff. In the local head office, a Chief General Manager with the AGM Public Relations and his supporting staff. In zonal offices, DGM, Deputy Manager PR and the supporting staff. If not the same, there will be similar kind of PR or corporate communication setup in private sector and NGOs. Functions of a PR department. Whichever is the organizational structure, whether it is a government organization or a public sector or a private sector, and whatever is the PR setup, the functions of a PR department are information dissemination, employee relations, stakeholder relations, customer relations, community relations, government relations, media relations, financial relations, advertising, publicizing, managing crisis communication, social responsibility, public affairs, communication about environmental protection, promotion of reputation, etc., etc. A public relations officer is a specialist in building and maintaining the positive image of his organization. He is often the first contact for organizations seeking to reach out in an informed way. He uses various techniques and strategies to shape and influence public impression and raise awareness. His responsibilities are developing PR strategies and campaigns, preparing press releases, preparing speeches, reports and promotional material, building positive relationship with stakeholders, with media and the general public, collaborate with internal teams and maintain open communication with management, edit and update promotional material and publications, organize PR events, press conferences, press tours, exhibitions, open houses, etc., seek opportunities for partnerships, sponsorships and advertising, address enquiries from the media and other parties, track media coverage and follow industry trends. Information is a fact conveyed and reception of knowledge or intelligence. It is also power and a form of energy which acts as an input for change and development. Information of public interest is known as public information. In a democracy, information is the people's fundamental democratic right and the duty of the government to provide full information to the people. The study of information and public information therefore assumes greater importance in the context of a democratic and developing country like India. Keeping this in view, the Government of India established agencies to disseminate information about policies and programs of the central government. Similarly, each state government has a PR department to perform the same functions as media units of Government of India does. In government departments, public sector undertakings and in private enterprises, there will be a setup of PR for dissemination of information and for maintaining relations between the organization and their publics. There are professional associations that serve as bodies of knowledge for upskilling PR practitioners. Role and functions of a PRO are unique because PR is a unique management function. Thank you.